Midnight here with another special report. When you think of Tomb Raider, you probably don't picture a free-to-play mobile game, but that's exactly what we got with Tomb Raider Reloaded. Though with some minor aesthetic changes, this is nearly indistinguishable from the average freemium title, but I'll get to that. First, the good. Canadian developer Emerald City Games was smart enough to not try and replicate the look and feel of the standard Lara Croft action-adventure title, because that almost never works. Whether it's wonky mobile controls or graphics that just aren't up to par. They were wise to forgo that whole mess. Even if they did so to craft a gameplay loop that's conducive to microtransactions, I still appreciate it. But paradoxically, that robs Tomb Raider Reloaded of any sort of clear identity. The game's played from a top-down perspective, and it's more akin to a bullet hell shoot-'em-up like Raiden or Pocky and Rocky. Reloaded sets the modern Survivor trilogy aside and embraces the old-school Tomb Raider aesthetics, minus the geometric boobs. And in a strictest sense, you're still kinda sorta raiding tombs, though there's not much of a story and the only real motivation is progressing through each procedurally generated room. The goal is to make it through 9 different levels, with each sporting up to 50 different mini-chapters or rooms. The controls are essentially a dynamic point-and-click system, with Lara moving in whatever direction you're pointing, and if you stand still, she'll auto-shoot the nearest enemy. As you might imagine, that leads to all sorts of scenarios where Lara's powerless against waves of bad guys, and if enemies get in close, then you're in for a bad day. Each encounter becomes a balancing act between mowing down the enemies and running away from them. You need a certain number of campaign tickets to even begin play, and if you run out, you can buy more with gems or watch an ad. Conversely, you can also wait 10 minutes to recover tickets one at a time, and when I opened up the game the next day, I had a full stock of tickets. Defeating your enemies earns you a certain amount of gold pieces, which you can use to upgrade your gear, plus power-ups, which only last through that particular game session. Between chapters, you'll occasionally run into Lara's friend Anaya, who usually offers to either heal you or give you some major bonus. Unfortunately, healing items are at a premium, so you'll usually find yourself just taking the HP recovery. In each gameplay session, you get one revive, which lets you continue where you are instead of starting from the beginning, which you can either buy with gems or sit through an ad, though the latter option quickly goes away. And as you'd imagine, the game is more than happy to sell you gold, gems, campaign tickets, or even souped up gear for real-life money. Though to the game's credit, it is fairly generous to the non-paying customer. I haven't played the game long enough to know if anything, maybe epic gear, is completely locked behind a paywall, but almost everything is accessible and achievable given enough time. Like most freemium games, microtransactions merely expedite matters. Sometimes overwhelmingly so. But in most cases, if you're willing to play the game enough, earning gold the old-fashioned way, watch an ad or two, or just wait, you can experience most of the game for free. I really had to go out of my way to exhaust all the free options to continue the game, and even then, I just had to wait for the campaign tickets to regenerate. And progressing from a weakling with dual pea shooters to an unstoppable juggernaut is pretty satisfying, especially with weapons ranging from dual pistols to shotguns, assault rifles, and more. The game is more of an arcade feel than Lara's other adventures, but it is surprisingly addictive, with a good bit of replay value. The orchestral score does a good job setting the mood, and the sparse voice acting is nice, though if you took away the backdrops, Tomb Raider Reloaded isn't too dissimilar from your garden variety freemium title. Because it's played from an overhead perspective, some gamers will probably bemoan the loss of one particular factor. Or, rather, 2 particular factors. But I can't imagine a 3D platformer working under the circumstances. At times, with all the enemies and projectiles covering the screen, it does begin to feel like the freemium version of a quarter muncher, since the difficulty does spike pretty high if you do forego the microtransactions. Again, it's not impossible to make it through the game without them, but it's a heck of a lot harder. And the gameplay loop is clearly built around microtransactions, though as mentioned, there's usually alternatives to ponying up real money, though if you believe time is money, you'll spend a fortune, whether cash changes hands or not. So I give Tomb Raider Reloaded 3.5 joysticks out of 5. Thanks for joining me for another special report. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to my televisual program, and I'll see you next time. This is Jimmy Midnight signing off.